everyone, I am Mahogany Travels here.
And I'm Jonathan Celestin.
And today we are filming my next episode of Mahogany Talks, which is I'm scared to travel solo. I want to dispel some of the myths and rumors around solo travel and explain to you how I have approached it in the past. If you haven't had a chance, go to my website, mahoganytravels.us, and take a look at my first blog post. In that post, I talk about how my very first international trip wound up being a solo trip, even though that wasn't planned. Little did I know then that it set the blueprint for how I would travel in the future. So, Jonathan, have you ever traveled solo?
Yes, I actually travel solo very frequently. Last year for my tour, when I went to practically around the world by myself, I had to travel to Sweden, to Switzerland, Germany, Norway, and a few other places.
Have you ever had a fear of traveling solo?
No, I actually haven't ever had a fear. I'm one of the, I don't know, I think maybe I'm a rarity, but I really, really enjoy traveling by myself. I like traveling with others, but if I have to do it by myself, I really don't have any trepidations. What about you?
I will say that, again, my first trip was not planned to be solo, but that sort of indoctrinated me into the world of traveling solo, and I don't have a problem with it. I can say, though, from a woman's perspective, that it can be apprehensive to travel alone. So these are some of the ways. I'm going to give you 4 tips of what I do when I plan a solo trip.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so the first tip is determine where you can and should not travel solo. The way that I determine that is by the language.
Okay.
I learned a very valuable lesson one time. I went to a country that did not use the A to Z alphabet, and I found that it was very difficult for me to navigate the public transit system or to just explain places, obviously, that I wanted to go. I couldn't speak the language. Whereas in a Spanish-speaking country or even Italian, French, anything that uses A through Z, you can have an actual picture of the word and you'll know this is an A, this is an O, this is a Z. Where you're trying to navigate to, you can find it. Whereas in a country where there's symbols, any little aspect of the symbol can change the word into something else, and it can be a more difficult.
And it's easier to put into Google Translate if you're still using the same characters.
Exactly. So that's the first tip. Determine where you're going to go solo.
So what's the second one?
So then tip number 2 would be to remember that when you travel solo, you are not really alone. The blueprint.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is the blueprint for my travels from my first experience traveling internationally, I wound up doing a lot of tours. When you sign up for tours, you're with other solo travelers and you're with other groups of people. So you're sort of put into this family of people that are experiencing something together. I've always walked away from those tours with friendships, with other plans being made the next day, things like that. So I always love to do that. What I will recommend is the double-decker bus tour if you're in any metropolitan city. I like to do that because it will take you all around the major aspects of the city. I love architecture and history. You'll have some good tidbits. If you have a really good tour guide, you can hop on and off. And then you're still back with sort of a communal family of travelers. Some of those being other solo travelers, like I said.
So, you know, funny enough, I've never done a tour. I have done a guided tour once. I had like a solo guide who took me through Madrid. That was something different. I've never done a group, any kind of like a group tour, walk tour, or group bus tour. And I think for my next trip abroad, I think I actually want to experience that.
I love them.
I mean, living in New York City, we can both attest to living in New York City, like, New Yorkers never do the double-decker tour.
I've done it.
So you're like the rarity who's actually done it.
City bus, there's a lot of different vendors. They have a lot of competition now. There's blue buses, red buses. You know, I think the red bus came from London, just being that sort of recognizable symbol. But I've done them in New York City, living here. I love it because you always learn information about the history of the place, which I really like. So that is my second tip.
That's a really good one. That's a really good one.
The third tip I would say is to decide where you're going to stay. I primarily always stay in an Airbnb. Whether it is a full-on apartment by itself or if I rent a space within someone's apartment is generally determined by where I'm going. And again, I'm sort of filtering that by language, assessing what barriers that I might have. So for example, when I went to Argentina, even though that is an A through Z alphabet and I probably could navigate enough without speaking the language, I felt that it was far enough away and I didn't know enough about the culture. I wasn't as familiar that I wanted to be I wanted to have a home base. So I rented a room from an older woman. Her daughter was like the same age as myself. And she sort of was able to direct me on places to go. Now, she did not speak English. We definitely translated, but I felt when I got home, I knew I had someone that I could talk to, and if there was any type of emergency that arose, she could help me.
So that's interesting, because I feel like a lot of people feel less comfortable with sharing a space with someone. But you're saying that when you're in foreign countries, you actually kind of use the host as a liaison between you and the foreign country, right?
Exactly. And I always typically go for en-suites because I am more private, so I do look for rooms that have the bathroom inside. But I don't have a problem sharing a space in that capacity because you're not there a lot. At least I'm not. I'm out, I'm doing tours, I'm seeing the city, and then I'm just coming home and don't have to quite feel so isolated. I did that in Argentina, I did that in Israel, I did that in the Seychelles actually. And I'll make a funny story. With the Seychelles location, they had 2 or 3 other rooms in there that were rented out to other Airbnb people. We all became really good friends. A guy from Germany, a family from Russia. The German fellow actually lived in South Africa. When I went to South Africa, I stayed at his place. He's been to America. He's stayed here at my place.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When I go to Russia, I have an extended open invitation to stay at their place.
Wow.
So you always can make friends, and this is what I mean about you're never truly alone.
And you know, like, another thing about those Airbnb reviews, which is what I really like about Airbnb. For those who haven't used Airbnb before, the reviews don't go live until both parties have reviewed. So no one gets to like do a vindictive review in response to somebody else.
It's an honest review that you can trust.
Absolutely. So I really do look at the reviews when I go on Airbnb, and we love Airbnb. So.
Yes, and I read every single one. So you have to be able to parse out if there are some negatives and understand what circumstances happened if the person has provided enough information.
Sometimes you get haters.
Yes. So sometimes you can't take all the negatives too literal. But so I would say that determining where you're going to stay. I have other places that I've been to where I rented just the full place by myself, and I had no problem with that. For example, in Greece. But I did sort of come across the problem with the language barrier with trying to navigate public transportation in Greece.
Wow. So had you had that liaison, it might have been a little different.
Exactly.
Cool.
So the 4th tip that I have to encourage you on traveling solo would be to just be very aware of your surroundings the way that you would be in New York, Los Angeles, any major city hub. You're going to have a level of caution. I personally, if I am traveling solo, do not go to nightclubs or lounges. I know when you travel, Jonathan, do you like to party?
She asked that like she knew the answer already. So yeah, when I go out and travel abroad, it depends, but I think every country I've ever been to, I think I have.
You have,
yeah.
So that I might be a little against the grain there, being a person that does not do that. But I just feel as a woman solo traveling, I have less of a chance for something to go wrong if I am at home in the later hours and I'm, comfortable in the place that I'm staying at.
Especially when you're by yourself.
Yes.
Especially when you're by yourself. So
but if you are a person that does like to go out, I would just say then, again, to make sure you're only accepting drinks from bartenders, that you're, not going to the bathroom, leaving an open container or letting someone purchase you a drink and just handing you something. Just those normal sort of caution tips that we get.
Do you use car services, like app services, or do you just go with the regular taxis? Which one do you feel more comfortable doing when you're abroad?
So I have done both. I've done both. Official taxis. In New York City, we have something here that they call the gypsy cab. There you go. I would not take a gypsy cab in a foreign country just because I'm not familiar with how it works, right? So always metered cabs, and then a car service if I was at a hotel and had them assist me with getting a car.
Lyft or Uber, just depending on where you are. And some countries have yet to like implement some of those services too. I remember when I was in Japan for New Year's 2 years ago, I left my wallet in an Uber. had it been just a regular cab, I would have never seen my wallet again. But because I had used Uber, I could call my driver and he came back with my wallet.
Wow.
So I guess that's like one pro for using like an app, because had it been just a regular cab, I wouldn't have been able to call anyone. I wouldn't have known who to call. There would have been a language barrier. But he came back and brought me my wallet at the club.
I just want to say that I would encourage every woman, every person who wants to travel somewhere, if you're unable to find people to go with you, don't let that prevent you from traveling. You absolutely can travel solo to many, many places in the world and have a great time, and you will walk away with new friendships, new connections, a newfound respect for yourself and how you can approach the world and navigate the world, and sort of a sense of empowerment. And I encourage everyone to travel internationally at least once by themselves. At least
once a year.
There you go.
Okay guys, so this part of the Mahogany Talks is our speed question round. So we are going to ask each other the questions, and we have to give a really quick answer and see what we come up at the top of our heads. Alright guys, so you ready? Alright, okay Mahogany, if you're traveling abroad, what would you do first? Museum or palace?
Palace.
Why palace?
It's just more ostentatious.
Okay, cool. Alright, cool. And plus you're royalty, so.
Oh, thank you. Okay, Jonathan.
Alright.
If you were in a city, is it going to be a nightclub or a day club?
Oh gosh. Let's do a day club that goes into a nightclub.
That's cheating. That's cheating.
Okay, Mahogany, when you travel abroad, with pets or without pets?
Oh, I would love to take my pets, but no pets. It's just easier. You need shots, you need forms, verification, and it costs a lot to fly your pets now.
It does, and now they have so many stipulations because they don't want to, like, be liable. But you have travel-friendly dogs, so if you have like the short snout dog, it's a bit harder to get those on. I have a Frenchie, so it's a little harder to get a Frenchie on.
I have toy poodles. I have no problem getting them on.
Yeah, so yeah.
It's the medical reasons and things like that. So
okay, good
no
answer.
pets. They have to stay here with my mom. So Jonathan, when you travel, is it for work or pleasure?
Oh, so my rule of thumb is you have to always have a little pleasure, even when it's business. Okay. And even when it's pleasure, you gotta have a little business, because I don't believe in going on a trip abroad and not making business connections.
There you go.
So, okay, Mahogany, when you are on the beach abroad, what's your favorite drink to drink on the beach?
Oh, I don't know. I can't answer that.
What's your favorite beach drink? Everyone has their favorite beach drink.
It's always going to be something fruity with rum.
Okay, alright. Nice. So you're talking about Mai Tais or mojitos?
Mai Tais.
Okay,
yeah.
My favorite beach drink is a mojito. Only because, like, my second home and, like, the place where I'm always at the beach is Miami.
Okay.
So, like, whenever I smell... Exactly. So whenever I smell a mint, I just think of, like, Miami. I think of the beach, South Beach. So that's my favorite drink on the beach.
Nice.
So.
Okay, so, we got a cameo from my dog here. Final question.
Okay.
When you travel, is it check bag or no check bag?
Okay, that's the easy question. I hate the check bags. So I'm going to be on the no check bag. I will pack my bag to the rim. I generally do like the mesh bag. So you can fit more in a mesh bag overhead than like a hard bag.
Okay.
And I can fit everything I need. That way I don't have to check a bag. And when it's time to leave the airport, I go straight to the curb, get my Uber, and I'm gone.
Ah, okay.
What about you?
I am the exact opposite.
Okay.
I'm carrying a lot of products, a lot of accessories, matching shoes and earrings and things like that. So I'm one of those people that's probably guilty of packing too much.
But you gotta be prepared.
Exactly.
You never know.
Want to be prepared.
Right.
Side note, I did challenge myself on one trip. I went to 4 countries for 21 days, and I traveled out of a single carry-on.
Wow. Now, if you could do it, anybody can do that.
Anyone can, believe me.
That's amazing.
It was tough, but I did one single carry-on.
Awesome. Look at you. Look at you.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Had a great time with Jonathan. Check out his Instagram page at Jonathan Celestin. He's a great singer, and this is the voice behind my Mahogany Talks jingle.
Aww. Anything for a friend. Thank you guys. Love you.
Bye. And it's on. Okay.
With liquor.
We're here.
Come on, cop a squat, Mahogany.
I'm just gonna do one more test to make sure the hair is right. So today we're gonna be talking about solo travel.
Okay.
I got Jonathan here with me.
Hey guys.
Check him out.
Yeah.
Okay, at Jonathan Celestin on Instagram. Wonderful singer. And he does the intro to my Mahogany Talks.
Oh, thanks for that.
Yeah, Jonathan, go fix that phone, please.
I put the volume all the way down.
Did you just hear that?
I know. I don't know what it is.
You sat all the way back though.
I want to be comfortable.
Let me see how
What do you
I'm
think?
gonna sit.
I want to look
I sit like.
Okay.
So look at the camera. You don't think we're too close?
It could be a little too close. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. To travel solo is.
Always get lit.
Nurse system. Oh, my dog is here. Carmela, you gotta get down.
Just kidding.
Mahogany travel.